I see that Violet's gonna be picked up here. Oh, they're going for Tulin. Simjo, like I said.
Oh, yes. You gotta get the Simjo on the Tulin.
I called the Tulin on Simjo, and he picks it right away. But that gives Violet and Wonder Woman over to the side of Myth.
So Tulin gets picked up for the side, someone that we kind of, figured out, but Malek's still gonna get picked up to make sure that they can have that counter onto the Violet.
Yeah.
Lumbar as well.
So you want to pick a heavy engage comp. Knowing that they have Violet and Wonder Woman, you want to engage comp that can get to the back line, can CC the Violet and delete her. So they're going to go for like a Zephy's pick here, potentially a Lubu. Omen is picked up here. He's really good in the side lane. Prada is a mage, but yeah, Lubu's being picked up here in a Lindis composition. And this is looking pretty good for the side of RoyaL.
Now, RoyaL, obviously, they allowed that Violet to go past, so it wouldn't be surprised if they didn't have a strategy to ensure that they could counteract that Violet, and they did just that, and this has been a little different. Again, we might see the Superman paradox happen. You let the Violet through one game, and then, okay, we need to reel that one back in.
Yeah, and Mina is an interesting pick. She has an okay peel. She has a taunt, and she can pull one person. But Thane probably would have been a little better. His dash just pushes an entire enemy team away from the Violet. So he really has amazing peel for a Violet. So, but again, Simjo's on Tulin. So honestly, I'm gonna give the game over to RoyaL because Simjo is on his Tulin.
I didn't even get a chance to ask you about your prediction, and that's already was. But I'm gonna formally ask you and see. Is that the same? Simjo's on Tulin. Is it going to be RoyaL? Does Myth have a chance?
Yeah, Myth has a chance. I mean, they do have Violet. They do have Wonder Woman, right? This is the hero composition that RoyaL really loves to play is that Wonder Woman. So with them having Wonder Woman and Violet, they do have a lot of good poke potential. Violet outpokes the Lindis. However, RoyaL just needs to play decisively. And in the team fights I've watched him play with Tulin, they're super decisive with how they dive. And I think that's going to give Myth a really hard time.
Myth is going to find themselves in a difficult position. Obviously, we're always tracking Suijay's percentages. We want to see how smart he really is, but we want to see how smart you guys are at home or wherever that you may be watching, broadcasting all across the world here, the Valor Series Season 1 for Europe. So make sure you take to Twitter using that hashtag Valor Series. Let us know who you think is going to win. Let us know who you think is going to succeed. But with that, it's going to be our third quarterfinal match for the top 8 European bracket. It's going to be RoyaL taking on Myth.
Yeah, and this is surprising. Ryoma has not been picked. This is the first time that he's not been played in a game. So interesting change of events here when it comes to this 6-ban format. Really excited. And look at that nice Mina pull over there onto the Malek, pulling him out of position. So it looks like none of the teams are going to invade or do anything aggressive here. Tulin, Simjo is going to stay in his lane, farm up, get this level 2, and then probably make a rotation play to eventually catch someone out guard. Or we'll see how the team is going to rotate here.
So we're here at 45 seconds in. We saw delayed starts. We saw early aggressive starts on a lot of these counter junglings, but it looks like it's going to be that very early sub 1 minute. They're going to be able to go and secure a little bit of that might buff for the Violet.
Myth did a really good play there. They're able to invade and do a really quick and decisive rotation, taking the red buff away from Lindis here. So Lee does not have that red buff. It's going to set him behind slightly here when it comes to the jungle rotation and level. But they're going to counter invade here to try to get that red buff, and they don't get it. Yeah, Violet is able to secure it again, and that's a huge play.
Oh.
And do they get first blood? They do not get first blood.
Tick of the damage. Not going to be enough, just enough of a heal. Violet is going to do her best at making sure that everyone stays themselves far away. The range with that one ability provides so much extra damage for the team. You can see already very early, just sub 2 minutes into the game, the damage that she provides. But first blood is going to go into hands of RoyaL. Lee picking up that kill.
Yeah, that's huge because it gives there's 300 gold to the person that got the first blood. So that's a huge pickup for RoyaL. Even though they did lose the red golem on their side of the jungle in the early rotation, they are a 200 gold ahead because of that first blood.
Now, we didn't really talk about it too much in the draft phase because it was a very quick and go sort of situation. But I have to ask you, how does this Mina ban work out for the side of Myth with that last pick?
Yeah, the Mina is a very interesting pick. It's something that they probably practice and have synergy around because she can pull a Death Sith and pull an enemy opponent right onto her and then taunt them, and that basically immobilizes them for a good 2 seconds, which allows their team to then destroy and blow up that carry that is taunted. And Mina taunts in AoE, so if a team dies of Violet, she can just turn the taunt on and taunt the entire enemy team to focus her instead of the Violet, and that gives Violet a lot of breathing room to get out of trouble and then dish out the damage.
And so now We are dead even at the 3-minute mark here, RoyaL versus Myth. The winner going on to play in the semifinals on Saturday. We've got a second broadcast. We'll be broadcasting 2 times a week. We're gonna have the quarterfinal matches on Wednesdays, and then the relegation as well as the semis and finals happening on those Saturdays.
Yeah, Saturday is going to be a ton of fun because that's when we're going to see the highest level of tier play from all these teams from NA and Europe, because the top 4 teams are the ones that will be advancing to fight each other in the semifinals and finals. So I'm really excited to see which team is going to come on top, and I'm predicting that every team is going to go back and forth because based on what I'm seeing, SK, even though dominant and the favorite, RoyaL and Nova have a good chance of becoming #1 as well.
They do indeed. Every team has the opportunity to put themselves in a much more advantageous position than what originally thought. But now it's going to be the first big team fight of the match. It's going to be a 4 versus 4 skirmish on the bottom side near this Abyssal Dragon. Scott Crew's going to take down Lee. Namir's so low, but he's going to recall into that bush. The rest of the teams are going to back away and get themselves off, but that's going to be 1-0 in that little scuffle in favor of Myth.
Yeah, that was a nice Malik engage. However, the team didn't follow up on that front line, and Lindis was taken down due to Wonder Woman being able to use the execute and really focus on the Lindis there. So actually a really good turnout for Myth there. They didn't lose anything, and they got a kill and got away barely alive.
And so now a much slower start than what we saw in the first 2 quarterfinal matches of the day. All of these teams are playing quite cautious, quite safe. Ganji and Numir are going to catch themselves up. You're going to see a nice little channel damage there by Sky Crew. Getting himself off, cleared themselves that minion wave. The Abyssal Dragon is still up and available. The longest time that we've actually seen since the first Abyssal Dragon. We've usually had one taken pre 4.5, 5 minutes, but it's going to be the Spirit Sentinel instead. And just as I say that, almost on cue, near towards the bottom side of the map.
However, they're trading the Abyssal Dragon for the Sentinel. The Abyssal Dragon is a better objective, so really nice play by RoyaL there. However, getting the Sentinel as a trade isn't bad because that doesn't put them as much behind. The Sentinel does give the team gold, but does not give experience like the Dragon does. So the Dragon is a better objective, but it's better than nothing.
Seed Wedgements have been deployed. Myth taking a little bit of damage. That Wonder Woman half. 3 members on the bottom side of the map now. There's a little bit of health and regen available left. Onto this Wonder Woman.
And look at that nice pull by the Mina. And they miss and they are not able to kill the Lumbar. And there's no wave. They're not pushing it with the wave, so they're not able to take this tower here. And if they hang around, they may get rotated and caught upon. But I think they're going to stay here and try to take this tower potentially.
Minions are coming up on the middle side of the map. Violet has the opportunity to help make himself.
Yeah, with Omen and Violet there, they're going to take that tower with ease. Every 3rd hit that Omen does true damage and stacked, so that's what makes him such a strong dueler. One-on-one, he's one of the best duelers in the game and can take down towers so quickly because of that passive.
First tower being done in favor of Myth, the dark horse that we weren't sure how they would perform against RoyaL, but already they found themselves up even in gold, up in 1 objective. As we can see, the gold is dead even because 1 tower taken in favor of Myth, but the Abyssal Dragon and the amount of resources that it provides is definitely in favor of RoyaL, as now we are rounding up to the moment where a lot of these teams are going to get themselves and secure that first item for that first power spike, which is going to be super important for those scuffles.
Yeah, for sure. Watch how Simjo, you see the 5 kind of stars flying around Tulin. When he hits an enemy with an ability, he gains a charge of Thunderclap. It's called Thunderclap, is his passive, and then it prioritizes and targets enemies' heroes. So Tulin does a ton of damage if you're able to land your abilities. And his Ion Blast, you know, the 3 blasts that he shoots out does a lot of AoE damage as it passes through enemies. So once Tulin is able to land his abilities and charge up his Thunderclap passive and then use those 5 Thunderclaps to then damage an enemy, he puts out a massive amount of damage.
Oh, but a nice little rotation coming out of RoyaL. Lee's going to take down me, as now this was, again, a solid rotation. These rotations with these teams, as quickly as they can get to lane, is hyper important. Second Abyssal Dragon looks like it's going to fall in favor of RoyaL, down to 10% HP. The secure is there by Simjo. That Tulin We talked about it in the hero select. Definitely someone that we have to keep the mark on, but here is where things might start to get frisky. It looks like they want to try to pull themselves on the fight. Alex is going to have to be forced to rock away, but it's knock-up after knock-up.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
damage aspect after damage, and that's going to be Alex going down.
Yeah, that is a weakness of Wonder Woman. If she's engaged upon, she doesn't have the best escape. She has a really good initiation kit because of her lasso and all that, but she is not good at running away or trying to chase someone that's really mobile, and this is the weakness of Wonder Woman. So if you see her alone like that caught out, just dive her and then she won't be able to do much.
So now we have an onslaught happening by Team RoyaL. They've already secured themselves the bot tier 1. Tier 2 is on the mark, and do they want to get a couple more spots off this? They do. W's going to go down. It's also going to be Numir as well, so that's going to be a 2-for-0 in favor of RoyaL.
Yeah, we're always doing a good job. Their team rotations have been on point. You see, if you look at the late game, especially after Darkslayer 6 minute when Darkslayer spawns, how are these teams rotating, right? The 3-man, the 4-man rotations, they're clearly pressuring, you know, bot tower, top tower, getting ganks, taking the tower right after that. That's how you want to play as a team in the late game. You want to have a clear, decisive rotation pattern where your team moves as a unit and then uses the numbers advantage to take advantage of enemy mispositions or misplays, exactly like they did in the last few fights there against Wonder Woman and the tier 2 tower.
And so here we are coming up on the 9-minute mark. It has been a slow play by RoyaL, a much more patient strategy than what we've seen earlier in the first 2 quarterfinals of the day, but efficiency is still off the mark and in their favor. We can pull up the KDAs in just a second to let you guys know exactly who is getting off, and there we go. We can see 3, 2, and 2. Wow. Everybody getting involved. 1-0-4 on that Tulin. Nice little engage. Numir's almost going to go into the Shintaka. Oh, the snipe.
That was a 3-man knockup by Lubu there. When Lubu uses his first ability and uses the 3rd time, the 3rd one is a knockup hit against enemy team, and that's going to allow them to put pressure on this tower because they got so many of the team members low. And this is what I love. You want to camp. Your goal is to put pressure, right? Push the top lane, wait in the bush, and then take the tower. It's exactly what Valor was doing. So textbook from Team RoyaL here, and they're doing a really good job of setting themselves up to get these ganks, get the enemy team low, and then pushing the objective lead with towers taking down.
5,000 gold lead in favor of RoyaL. They've got the tier 2 tower available. They want it on the menu, but first they want blood.
Wow.
RoyaL's doing everything they can. Myth is turned into a distant memory, as it looks like 3 members, no 4. Possibly the 5th is going to go down. No, Violet's going to be able to get away, but regardless, that was a dominant effort by RoyaL. They're going to rotate down towards the mid lane and secure themselves another piece of victory.
I mean, that Malik ultimate, the shock ultimate, jumping out, stunning the entire team to disengage. Lindis then folk target locking and killing the enemy heroes. Such good play by RoyaL there. I mean, really good job. That countering, this is why Malik is so good. His ultimate is a good engage and also a very good counter engage against enemy team. And exactly what happened to turn around that engage by Myth there, and RoyaL just pulls it away.
And another effort by RoyaL. 3-0-6 is that Tulin. We saw, we knew, we predicted, we hoped, we wanted, and it happened. That #1 pick on the blue side went down in favor of Simjo and RoyaL.
Yeah, Tulin is like a RoyaL. He can carry really hard because if you don't kill him, and he gets his Thunderclap passive, and then he kills you with his ultimate. If he kills a enemy hero with his ultimate, he basically gets a 80% cooldown on that ultimate. He can just use it almost immediately again, which is huge and allows him to basically 1v4 or 1v3.
And this is where the team of RoyaL has an opportunity to end the game. 11.5 minutes into the match, and it's going to be the Darkslayer going down in favor of RoyaL. 32,000 gold to the 25,000 of Myth. And so with such the gold lead, the advantage as well as the efficient execution that they've had on the board, big possibility for them to finish things strong.
Yeah, in this matchup, Violet actually has more damage than Lindis. Lindis has built a Frost Cape, which basically means every time you use an ability and you hit an enemy, it does damage and also slows them. So Frost Cape is a very good CC tool to allow your enemy team to focus the person that's getting slowed. And let's see if they're going to focus the tower here or make a really quick dive onto enemy hero. Yep, they're going to back off, actually.
They're being very patient. They don't want to overstep. Overzealousness. They say curiosity killed the cat, but overzealousness killed the zebra, because it's going to be the ones of RoyaL deciding to just keep the lanes pushed. There is a Mega Wave actually being built in the bottom side of the map, so they're going to have to react to that very quickly. You can actually see it looks like, I believe, Lubu actually going down to try to stop that.
If this is happening, what RoyaL should do instead, because Violet is so good at clearing wave because of her tactical fire, it just pierces through the damage of the wave. And Preda, again, Preda is probably one of the best wave clears in the game. Instead of pushing the waves, you're feeding Myth, right? You want to hold the waves, wait for Abyssal to spawn, wait for Dragon to spawn, or Dark Slayer, and then take those, and then just hold the wave. Don't even push it, because you're starving the enemy team out when you're holding the wave. But when you're pushing the waves like this, like they're doing right now, and you're not able to get the tier 3 tower or any damage on it, you're basically just feeding Team Myth, and that's exactly what they want to do. But they're going to hard engage here.
Oh, it looks like they're going to want the battle. You see the double knockout being happened by Hakai, but it looks like the tower is going to go down first. Lee finishing off that objective, but then the focus becomes on the team. They're going to kite themselves backward as the members of Myth are trying to dive on to the mark. 2, 3 members are going to be down already, but the health bars for RoyaL are very low. The onslaught comes out. 1 member left remaining. A nice little kite comes out, but he cancels it out, and regardless, that's going to be the sweep. 2 are going to go down, but the minion wave is going to come up, and RoyaL.
He got a mega kill. Very well played by Simjo. And then Violet just had to auto attack him once to get this kill. And look at the death timers. I think they're long enough. They're able to finish this. However, Tulin does magic damage, and it won't do too much damage versus the core, but I think it's enough here to finish the game, because they do have a siege minion, and that siege minion takes forever to kill, and this is going to be RoyaL's game.
I don't know. Alex is up in 2 seconds. Is there an opportunity? Just as we get hopeful, it doesn't matter. We were there, but it was RoyaL that took the victory. The back of Tulin, the back of Simjo. It was RoyaL with the game 1.
Yeah, I gotta give it to Malik, though. Malik had such good initiates with his shock ultimate. I mean, you can see why Malik is such a priority pick for all these teams. He's been played in every single game because of a good ultimate like that, and it CCs the entire team. It just sets up your team to make some great plays.
What I believe set apart the members of RoyaL from the previous 2 matches that we saw was the calculated aggression that they had at their disposal. They were patient, they waited, they grabbed themselves a couple objectives, and then when they were confident in the items that they had at their disposal and the teamwork that they had in their pocket, they pulled themselves off the victory. It was execution after execution, a mega kill by Tulin, but more importantly, the game 1 victory.
Yeah, and their rotations for RoyaL was really good too. You saw them rotate down to the bot lane. They were to take the tier 2 tower, get a kill under tower. These are the type of rotations we're seeing constant again and again from these top teams. You know, their movements are right on point, and they know exactly how to take these objectives by setting up the map control and then rotating as a unit to make that play happen.
Well, we have a little bit more to break down. Obviously, we've got a couple replays that we can show. The first one happening at about that 8-minute mark, where we really start to saw the first valiant effort by RoyaL.
Yeah, and this is the play here. The 4-man rotation against a 3-man here. And they're able to focus down the tower immediately. And then as soon as Mina comes in, they back off and they're able to focus her. But they look at it, they kill the Violet first and then take care of the Mina, who doesn't do that much damage and just more of a distraction, honestly. So really nice decision making and team fight focus here by Team RoyaL.
It was, again, it's the little things. When you think about MOBAs, when you think about Arena of Valor, especially with the game as aggressive and fast-paced that it is, the inches turn to miles, turn to craters of advantage for you, or a deficit for the enemy team if you want to add it in the inverse. And it was RoyaL that had themselves that advantage. We're going to take a look at the second replay at around the 10-minute mark, where RoyaL continues the onslaught.
Yeah, look at this. You know, Myth engages hard here. Look at the Malik ultimate here. He waits for it, hits 4 people with the ultimate, and just turns around that fight completely. Once Violet is dead, the fight is over, and RoyaL then takes over the win and gets this tier 2 tower here, putting them more in the lead.
Well, obviously, RoyaL's little victories secured themselves a win, but the most important victory was that mega kill at the very end. And what better individual to get that than it's going to be Simjo on that Tulin?
Yeah, watch how they engage here. Watch Malik engaging, and watch Tulin. He's alive. He's doing damage. He's getting low, but he's constantly using his abilities. He's ulting as soon as they get a kill with Thunderbird. Thunderbird is ultimate. He's channeling like a Kamehameha blast. Once he kills somebody with it, it gets an 80% cooldown. He can use it again, and then that's what allows Tulin to carry so hard. I mean, he's a very fun hero to play.
Not only is Tulin as a hero extremely proficient, but when you have someone like Simjo, who is known for a hero that powerful, I wouldn't be surprised for the first mega kill of the Valor series to go into his pocket.
Yeah, exactly. And he's the one that got it, and that was exciting. And it was so close. I mean, Violet could have killed him if she auto or got a lucky crit hit. he would have just been deleted because he didn't have that much defense. But it worked out in his favor. He pulled off that mega kill and secured the game victory for RoyaL.
We're going to pull it up on your screen. We're going to telestrate it for you as well, because what better way to break down the mega kill than to actually show it on your screen. SweetJ, I know you're excited to break this down and really show how that fight transpired.
Yeah, watch the Malik ultimate here, and just watch the Lindis. They're back. Both Simjo and Lindis are behind, doing a ton of damage, and Simjo gets hit by the charge, but look at his positioning. They're cutting back. I mean, cutting the fight is so important. We're going to stop here real quick. And look at the damage that's happening here. He has his thunderclaps, and look at these two, the two heroes here and here. Watch how Tulin is going to use his AoE damage to take care of them once he has those 5 thunderclaps around him. And we're going to play from here and watch the damage that he dishes out.
This was, again, we've talked a lot about
Look at that, wow.
Yeah, the onslaught 3 goes down, and Simjo.
Yeah, the thunderclaps comes up again. He has it, and look, it's hitting the Mina, gets the Violet, boom. And then he got that with the Thunderbird. You saw the ultimate? That Thunderbird is what killed her from a long shot away, and boom, he just carried that fight really, really well. So good job, Simjo.
All right, well, I think we all know the answer to this question, but does the ban face change for the side of Myth now that they're going to be taking up the blue?
Yeah, I watched them play, and I saw his Tulin. I was like, this guy's a monster on Tulin. That's the first thing I wrote down when I watched RoyaL play in the Go 4, and they won the finals against Vitality. I was like, wow, Simjo's Tulin is impressive, and that's the first thing they first pick it right off the bat. And you can see why that's the case.
Well, the moment we've been waiting for is here. The Game 2 bans have been decided. They have been chosen, and we're going to pull them up on your screen in just a second. And we're going to get to see, does the Tulin... I don't think...
oh, the bans are up. Is this the bans?
I believe these are the bans. If they
wow.
are...
No Tulin ban. Teamy banned again. Violet is banned this time, so Violet's not going to make it through. Superman is open. This is really risky. Myth is first picking, so they'll probably first pick the Superman, but maybe Myth doesn't play Superman. They're going to hand it over to RoyaL.
But here's the question for you. Tulin wasn't taken off the mark. Superman was left on. Obviously, when you want the counter pick, such as Red Side, you want to keep a couple picks, power picks open. So say Superman Tulin's available. One takes one, the other one takes the other. But in this instance, it was Myth that made the decision to keep that open. And so do they take the Superman and risk Tulin back in the hands of Simjo? Or do they swap that around and potentially deny?
Superman is good into Tulin because he initiates. He's tanky. He initiates. He does 12% of his maximum HP as damage against his opponents. So he's naturally tanked. Tulin wants to poke and then dive, but if he's dove upon by like a Superman initiating and then stunning him, then Tulin is not going to have a chance. Because Superman has 2 abilities that remove control effects. He literally is a Superman. He can remove a stun or anything from off him, and he can stay on Tulin, and that's going to give Tulin a lot of a big headache.
Well, we're going to take a look at the bans again real quick because it looks like we have the same stuff. So, obviously, Teamy's taken off. Obviously, Max. Violet taken off as well. They didn't want the Violet to get back in the hands because, especially leaving Superman, Tulin, and Violet up, if they take the Superman on the round 1, that's going to put 2 very strong picks in the pocket of RoyaL.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely going to put a strong picks. And Lindis is open now. Lindis may be picked up. Liliana is banned. So with Liliana banned, you have Tulin or RoyaL. What some teams can do, and I've seen, is you can actually pick both. You can take Tulin and RoyaL and deny them these heroes on the other side, and you run Tulin jungle. So we've seen it actually happen in open qualifiers in North America, for example. A lot of draft strategy can play out. So let's see what RoyaL is a team that I took notes on that they draft extremely well. So I'm excited to see what their next draft is going to be for this game.
I think the exciting factor, especially because we're up to 3 bans per team as opposed to 1, is the versatility that these teams can create. You might think, obviously, your limitations are higher because you have 4 extra heroes being taken off the potential roster to draft. But in some instances, it makes it more complex, and it opens the doors even wider because you have so many options. You have so many potential combinations that you can have with your team. And as we have already seen in just the first half of the quarterfinals for EU, there's a lot of different options for these teams.
Yeah, I'm just excited to see Superman. It's the second time we're going to see in the game. Is he going to win or is he going to lose? So there's a lot of pressure in his team because if you have Superman and you lose, you just gave Superman a 50% win rate.
You did. And so, like we said, it's going to be Myth taking up the blue, RoyaL taking up the red. First pick.
What? No.
They were listening.
No, they're not going to take
They were listening.
Or Morin. What? They're going to leave Superman and Malik open, or Superman and RoyaL. Wait, so none of these teams play Superman, maybe? Maybe they just don't play Superman.
I
or
guess
maybe
not.
He'll make it through in a bit. Wonder Woman, Roma are going to be the top picks. Malik, the typical...
Well,
All right, and we're going to get this game started here. And look at that beautiful Lubu beach skin there. And I think in this situation, I really like World's Draft. They did deny the Tulin, though. So I'm really excited to see how Simho is going to play on this RoyaL.
I want to talk a little bit about that Zuka as well. Zuka, a hero that we've seen some players, we've seen a couple streamers actually be able to, throw this off with the mobility that he provides. I know a couple of us, as we were playtesting, a couple of the people in the office were really liking that Zuka. Shout out to the ones that love that indeed. But let's talk about how Zuka plays into this composition.
I think he's very underrated. He has mobile. He has 3 jumps and get into the back line. He has a passive called a Chi. It's like a wind around him that amplifies his damage. So he has like a 10% to 15% damage amp. And he does AoE. He's an assassin with AoE damage. So if you bunch up against Zuka and he like jumps in and stuns everybody and does his AoE amp damage, he can literally wipe a team out based on how it's played. So I'm really excited. I think Zuka is very underrated. And if he can play it really well, they may be able to inch out a win.
Well, we're going to see just that as we're going to get right into the match. Game number 2 of our third quarterfinal match for the European bracket. It's going to be RoyaL taking on Myth.
Yeah, and every 20 seconds, that's the passive that Zuka. Every 20 seconds, he deals damage to enemy heroes. Basically, it's up to 20% when he's maxed out. That's 20% damage from one of Zuka's hits. So this is something that they need to be careful because Zuka can easily jump on the back line due to his ability to jump 3 times and then do a stun on the 3rd jump. So this is something that I'm really excited to see how Zuka's going to be played here.
And so now, as we are up into game number 2 of the third match of the day, Myth has a lot to change, a lot to fix. And looking at the way that their combination is pulling against that Zuka, we can already see a lot of fights in the top side of this map. We haven't really seen any solo kills in the lane. So a lot of these teams, obviously roaming themselves around side lanes, playing very cautious, making sure that they're not getting themselves caught out too far. Yeah,
exactly. The key is once you win side lane, look at Zuka. He's winning the trade here, and he's taking the bird. It's going to give him a little advantage lead, and also the bird's going to give vision. And you can see Malik, this is the weakness of Malik. He has heal, never has punish, so you can contest against the Malik because you have more damage than Malik does. And look at that, catching out Shikaru. Really nice rotation there by RoyaL again.
And so 1 kill already into the pockets of RoyaL. They are the ones taking themselves a little piece of an advantage. And that Lubu skin, can we just pause on that Lubu skin for a second? Because he's definitely enjoying his time on the beach.
Yeah, he is. That skin is really great, and I love that they're playing a Lubu jungle. He's actually played in other regions as a jungler because of his ability, his fast movements. He has a knock-up on his 3rd jump. He's super mobile, and he's also has so much sustain. When he ultimates, he has a ton of lifesteal, and it's extra hard to take down because of that.
So now looking at the rotations that we have coming out of RoyaL, obviously posturing themselves a little bit farther towards the bottom side of that map because those early Abyssal Drakes are extremely important to the efficiency and the time of their team. And almost as if they're listening on cue, they're going to end up securing that Abyssal Dragon.
Really good job here of taking map control. But however, it's going to put them in a tough spot, and they're going to get gauge upon. And they're going to drop they're going to keep on the dragon. But Laurel is low, and Tulin gets the kill on the RoyaL because they're trying to overly focus this dragon. And this is really risky for the side of RoyaL here. And look like Myth.
He's able to pick himself up that dragon, but that doesn't mean that the fights aren't happening. Double kill going over favor in Myth. Shikaru having that off. Ganji having a lot of damage. He's going to have to go under the tower. It looks like there might be a dive, but they're going to have to be careful because there is a Wonder Woman waiting in the wayside.
Yeah, but look at that punish there by Lee. He's able to get that Abyssal Dragon right before it dies, and his opponents were not able to punish it in time, and he punished it at the right time to secure it. And that actually is an okay trade. It's an even trade, I would say, but the Abyssal Dragon does give that experience advantage over to the side of RoyaL.
So now, as we get ourselves, you can hear the soft ribbit of the frogs on the Antares battlefield. We might be having battles, but the wildlife is still up and ready to go. As we see the Might Golem being taken by 2 of the members here for RoyaL, trying to get a little bit of a delayed invade. Numir and his teammate aren't going to be able to have that as Simjo is waiting. And now, let's talk a little bit about Simjo. We obviously saw his proficiency on the Tulin. What is it now that he's on this RoyaL?
Yeah, with RoyaL, he wants to go in with Lubu, with Lee. When Lee goes in, he needs to go in. And once he blinks in, he needs to set his ultimate, you know, her smite, which he just activated here, and then fight within that ultimate because it lowers her cooldown. It helps her blink much more often, allowing her to get her passive off because every time her damage hits 3 times, it sets off these explosions that do true damage, and it also heals her for 110 HP for each explosion. So that's why RoyaL is so good when teams bunch up, and she can basically 1v4, 1v5 if done correctly, as we've seen in other regions.
Farming a little bit off that wave to make sure they can get themselves as much early gold as possible. Those early item spikes being extremely important. As now, we're going to see a little bit of a scuffle. Zook is going to be able to dip, dodge, dive, and get himself into the fight. They're going to push towards the tower. He's going to be forced to walk away because it's Myth that's now deciding to take over. Lubu's going to join the fight. A sliver of health. A rock turned into a pebble, but he's still going to find himself alive as the members of RoyaL barely make it out.
Yeah, what a good engagement. This is a smart decision to rotate. There's no mid-wave there, so they're going to go ahead and rotate and get the Abyssal Dragon, which is going to put Myth back in the lead, I believe, here from the Dragon. And it's going to give them a go. Unless Monorail can steal it here. Oh, the Roma gets it, and it's going to even out the lead right there for them.
Yep, and that's also going to be ultimate down there. Sky Crew going to take down Wonder Woman, as we're going to have Lubu farming himself up into that jungle. But another scuffle has happened. Who is going to come out on top of this? You're going to see Shintaka. He's going to join the fray, but that's going to force a disapparition of the members of RoyaL as they want to get the heck out of Dodge.
Yeah, and this is interesting. Thane is building 2 weapon items. So I'm wondering what item he wants to complete here. It looks like an offensive item he wants to complete on his side. But remember, they do have 2 heals compared to the side of RoyaL. They only have 1 heal on the Lumber. They do have an Execute on the Panda. So what they want to do is Lubu and Panda want to go on the backline to either focus down the Ryoma or kill the Tulin or even get Morin. And that's something that they need to start comboing their team fights around so RoyaL can win against Myth here.
You still have a roughly 800 gold lead in favor of RoyaL. They were able to take themselves an early turret already. The bottom tier 1 has been taken. You have the Spirit Sentinel surviving and alive on that top side of the map. 50 seconds left remaining until you have the next Abyssal Dragon, but it looks like Shintaka, ooh, barely, those iframes securing himself. He's going to be able to jump away, but now it's going to have to be Zuka. But we've talked about a lot about his mobility. He's going to get away. His team was waiting in the back just in case they had a little bit of over-aggression, as we're going to have a reset in the fight.
Yeah, well, I'd like to see Morin be more aggressive here. He's kind of just farming, getting his items here. Once he does have a good amount of items and damage, he's a hero that you want to build a lot of attack speed and crit on. He opted for Sonic Boots, actually, which is interesting for an ADC, because Sonic Boots reduces all damage by 15% instead of getting attack speed. So he's being more of a tanky build and being able to survive longer, because I think of Morin's passive, you know, he can stack and he gets lifesteal the longer he's in a fight. So the longer he can last and survive, the better Morin's going to be in a lot of these team fights due to his precision passive.
So now we've got the members of Myth crowding themselves on the bottom side of the map. That turret is very low, but the other members of RoyaL are joining and waiting for that overcommitment. Hakai is going to go back, get that health back on that Wonder Woman. Abyssal Dragon is up and ready if either one of these teams decide to choose. But instead, the bottom tower goes in favor of Myth. They're going to set their eyes on the Abyssal Dragon. It doesn't look like RoyaL wants to contest.
Yeah, they're not. And look at Morin's build. He rushed Fafnir's Talon after Sonic Boots, which gives a good amount of attack speed and also lifesteal, which kind of synergizes with his passive. If he's the max level, he gets actually up to 26% lifesteal, plus that 10% lifesteal, and it makes him an incredibly strong opponent when fights last long. He's able to stack and get max lifesteal stacks here.
So now a little bit of a reset. RoyaL and Myth, uncharacteristic to the first two quarterfinals that we have had played with a lot more patience and have understood that they want their resources in the right pockets before they decide to fight.
Yeah, the teams are pretty even right now. It just depends who's going to be better at engaging and catching one another out in these team fights. The Abyssal Dragon has been a nice priority for Myth there, taking 2 dragons over World's 1. And it's so even. It depends on, like, I think they're waiting for Morin to scale up, and once he gets his damage out of him, and he builds a lot of crit along with lifesteal, he's going to be able to carry this team in a lot of these fights.
So now we're going to have a little bit of a scuffle. W's going to get himself off, and we're almost going to have to run the heck away, but it doesn't matter. Simjo's going to be able to pick up that kill, and the onslaught continues. RoyaL is winning these fights and ensuring that they can get themselves the tier 2 turret. They're going to be forced to back away. Sky Crew wants to try to go in, but I don't think that's going to what we want to do because multiple members of RoyaL are waiting.
Yeah, that was a nice engage, a safe engage onto Ryoma there. Ryoma only has 1 escape ability, so once he uses his first jump ability, he's pretty much dead meat. And that's something that they were able to take advantage of, lock him down, and everyone just dove him and make quick work of him. And now it's going to get a tower because of this. And yep, they're going to focus the tower here. Nice lumbar out to disengage and stop the Malik from trying to clean the wave there.
They want to be able to get themselves the fight. Shinitake is doing everything he can. The shield is not going to be enough because Simjo is going to pick himself up yet another kill. He's going to got himself kiting back. And that's going to be Wonder Woman picking up a kill as well. 3 for 1 rather, in favor of RoyaL.
Yeah, RoyaL did a really good job. Again, L'Oreal had her smite up, her ultimate, and she was fighting in the circle. And look, that was such a nice ultimate there by Morin, trapping and slowing Zuka down so he can then get the kill on him. One thing about Morin's kit is you can actually cast the Magnetic Storm with his ultimate, and if you use Impact Barrage with his B ability and you push someone into your Magnetic Storm, they will be stunned. So I would love to see that happen here in this game. If he can do that on Morin, he's going to set up a lot of plays for his team.
So with that, we're just over the 10-minute mark. The advantage is in favor of RoyaL, only up about 1,000 gold due to the 2 Abyssal Dragons that Myth have been successfully able to secure. So despite the skirmishes, despite a lot of these battles going in favor of RoyaL, Myth is hanging on.
Yeah, Myth is hanging on. RoyaL does have the tower advantage. They did take down 2 towers, and now they need to exert map control. You know, they have the Slayer side of the map open in Sentinel, so they can take those when it spawns. And you notice that, you know, they're not positioning for when the bat is spawning and kind of looking at the jungle timers and the respawn timers here, but they are going to rush the dragon here.
RoyaL doing a great job at securing their second game 4th Abyssal Dragon of the match. We have not seen anyone go for that Dark Slayer just yet. We had a couple early Dark Slayers happen, but we're at the 11-minute mark and no one has decided to try that just yet. We can see second items being completed, and this is where the power spikes, a lot of these scaling carries are going to start to take control.
Yeah, for sure. So interesting that Thane went for a Odin's Will. I don't see that item very much. It's a tier 2 item that basically increases your team's movement speed by 2% and deals additional 2% damage after you take damage, and you can stack it 5 times. So actually, it's not a team item, it's self-item. So this is an interesting item for Thane to build, actually, because it makes him a little squishier, and Thane needs to be a little tankier in these engages here.
So now we see the members of RoyaL trying to posture themselves towards the top side of the map. You have the bottom tier 1 still available and up in favor of Myth, which isn't going to allow too deep of a push for any of these minions, but the tier 2 in the top lane is going to go down just as I say that. And so now 3 towers to the 1 of Myth. RoyaL is in control.
Yeah, RoyaL's doing a good job. They're taking a tower, not getting punished for it, and that's a positive trade for them. Getting now their 3rd tower, which allows them even more map pressure in the mid and top side. Now they need to go for this bot tower and give themselves an additional gold lead by taking a bottom tower. But it looks like Morin and Tuna is going to rotate down here to protect it.
They don't want to.
Oh, it's not protected in time.
No, it's not. And this is going to create that opportunity for the minions to push farther onto the bottom side of the map. That could create a pressure. If they play the waves appropriately, they're going to be able to have an advantageous position fighting against that Dark Slayer, as now we are seeing a little bit of a lull. It's not something we're used to seeing here in Arena of Valor, specifically the Valor series that we've had today. Lots of aggressive matches as we're on the 3rd quarterfinal. here in the top 8.
If you look at the build for Laura, it's a very meta build that's built in every region, especially if there's an ADC in an enemy team. She's building Aegis, which gives her additional mana, 400 mana and 360 armor. And anyone that attacks her, it reduces the attack speed by 30% and the movement speed by 15% for 3 good seconds. So when Morin attacks RoyaL, he's going to get slowed, and his attack speed will be slowed because of that item she built. And she finished Hecate's, which is great for Pierce, and it gives her ability power 30% damage amplification. So really good build by Simjo here.
Third Abyssal Dragon being taken down by RoyaL, extending their lead now to just over 4,000 gold at just over the 13-minute mark, as this is where things could potentially start to get frisky for the members of RoyaL. Simjo has got himself done up, I believe, 3 items completed, and that's where the L'Oreal can really start to take over.
Yeah, he has 4 items completed, and that's a really good build for L'Oreal to really start carrying, because now she can do a lot of damage. And then once she just gets tankier, her true damage and her passive is just too strong when the team bunches up here. So let's see if they're going to engage here, because Malik is a little out of position. That's really good there.
Being forced to use that ultimate, that's going to be down for a couple more seconds. Nubir has the exit opportunities as well. Wonder Woman's going to try to help out, but the heal isn't going to be enough. Numir goes down to Hakai. That's going to be another kill coming out for RoyaL. And the 1 kill with that tank in the front line was all they needed. We would not be surprised if they decide to posture around that Dark Slayer.
You can see Thane is not that tanky. Although Odin's Will gives like 1,000 health, it doesn't get that much defensive stats because it has a damage stat on there. And you can see Thane will just whittle down his health so quickly.
Shintaka goes to the grave, and with 2 members of Myth on their death timers, having to sit and wait before they get back on the Antares battlefield, that's going to be an easy opportunity
for Dark Slayer.
Exactly.
And with Dark Slayer, they can now end the game, because once you get the Dark Slayer, that 30 damage bump, amplification, along with your team coordinating these fights on the tower and on enemy team, is going to really help you be able to push to win.
And so now with the Dark Slayer down, 25 seconds until the next Abyssal Dragon, this is all the pushing power that RoyaL wanted. We saw the way that they took advantage of the last match was not in the way that they went themselves onto aggression. It was the patience that they had and the capitalization on the misstep of Myth.
Yeah, for sure. So let's see what Myth is going to do to turtle this, because they need to turtle this and get Morin to late game carry, because he has actually 5 items. So Morin is actually looking pretty good and he's the most fed in the team right now. So if they can do a good play with Morin here, they're going to be good.
And look at the damage. It was a 3-shot by the Zuka to take down the tower. And that's going to allow another opportunity for RoyaL to push themselves on. And this could be it. The last team fight standing between RoyaL and the semifinals. All of the damage is going to come out. Simjo's going to go down. The carry, and this is the turnaround here by Myth. They're going to be forced to have a change of direction. Zuka being able to take down, he's going to take down Numir. That's going to be the Dancing Panda. He's going to show you all of his skills with that staff. That's going to be all she wrote, folks, as the mega kill comes out by the Zuka.
In that game, a lot of people didn't use their ultimates. Zuka's ultimate's up, Morin's ultimate's up, Tuan didn't use his ultimate. That was an interesting fight where a lot of the fights, they did not were able to pull off. I didn't see Morin use his ultimate at all, and if he were able to pull that off and stun people into the ultimate, maybe that would change the course of the fight. But really nice engage by RoyaL there.